Mitch Claydon added to his best bowling performance for Kent on the opening day of their LV County Championship match with Leicestershire at Grace Road by hitting the best score of his career on the second day to give his side the advantage at the halfway stage. Claydon had taken 5 for 77 in Leicestershire's first innings total of 217, and he then sat back and watched his teammates respond with a score of 106 for 5, which meant that Kent began the second morning 111 runs behind. Adam Ball and Darren Stevens made a very bright start to the day, with both playing some shots early on. This was the best of them, an uppercut from Stevens off Charlie Shrek that had enough on it to clear the boundary for a 6. 59 runs were hit off the first 10 overs of the day. Not for the first time in his career, Stevens was making a nuisance of himself as far as the opposition was concerned, and with Ball holding up his end equally as well, these two took their partnership for the 6th wicket to 92. They just about doubled their side score. They'd come together after 5 wickets had fallen for 54 runs on the previous evening, but were now just easing their side ahead in this game. Ball had made 36 of those runs when he was out with a total on 186. This delivery from Nathan Buck would have got many a batsman out as well. Boosted by that, Buck delivered a superb over. His next ball cut back sharply off the pitch, and Sam Billings would have been relieved that he didn't hear the death rattle. Having hit Billings on the pad with his next delivery, Buck then found the edge of the bat, only for the ball to be dropped in the slips. Buck deserved better. At the other end, Stevens was finding life a lot easier, and this shot took him to his 50, just the 3rd time that he's got that far in the championship this summer. This one had come off 61 balls with 8 fours and 1 6 against his former county. Buck, meanwhile, continued to cause Billings all sorts of problems. The batsman was again a little fortunate here, but his luck ran out to his 7th ball when Buck trapped him in front, leaving the game nicely balanced again, with Kent on 194 for 7, 23 runs behind. Buck was bowling with real intent, as Claydon found out when he arrived at the crease to be greeted by a bumper which he just about got away with. The deficit stood at just 10 runs when Kent lost their 8th wicket. Niall O'Brien just out of picture, taking an excellent leg side catch to remove Stevens for 57. So it looked as if there would be nothing to choose between these two teams on first innings, although Claydon had other ideas. He decided to play a few shots, taking these 3 fours off 3 successive deliveries from Rob Taylor. The last one took Kent into the lead, and now it was all about trying to get as far ahead as possible through Claydon, debutant Charlie Hartley and last man Adam Riley. Hartley was out after lunch for 2, deflecting a ball from Ben Rain back onto his stumps with a lead at 18. Leicestershire would have been hopeful of finishing off the innings quickly, but instead the next hour belonged to Claydon, who slogged Jigganake away to bring up his side's 250. Claydon's own half-century soon followed. The former Durham player had got this far only once before in his career, when 2 summers ago he made 55 against Nottinghamshire. He was soon past that as he top-edged a pull off Buck that flew over the rope at fine leg. Claydon was now annoying the Leicestershire attack. He did ride his luck at times. Another top edge off a pull saw the ball fly up, but the bowler Buck left it to O'Brien to catch, while the keeper left it to Buck. Claydon was eventually bowled by Taylor for 77 after adding 67 runs for the last wicket with Riley, and that meant that Kent were all out for 302. So they had a first innings lead of 85 runs, and that was plenty after Stevens trapped Angus Robson in front in his second over. Robson was out for 8 and was joined back in the hutch by Ned Eckersley, who was also LBW to Stevens in the all-rounders next over. And when a bit of extra bounce from Ball saw Dan Redfern nick off, 3 men had been dismissed in single figures to leave Leicestershire in trouble on 35 for 3. That moved on to 50 for 3 when the rain arrived at tea and the players didn't return to the middle until 5:15, with another dozen overs possible before another interruption from the weather that allowed Greg Smith and Josh Cobb to add 37 more runs. So Leicestershire will resume their second innings on the third morning on 87 for 3, which means that they are just 2 runs to the good. The penultimate day of this contest will be an important one, and the home side will look to Smith to add plenty more to his overnight 42.